Okay, as you can see by all of my shavings here, I've been doing a lot of carving. I've got that almost completely hollowed out. As I hold it in my hand, it still feels a little heavy in the bottom. So I think I can continue to carve more clay out of the bottom. You can see it's looking pretty good inside though. But like I said, a little heavy down there. So I'm actually going to use this flatter tool so that I can kind of flatly go across the base of the pot there. I might try to carve away about another 1/4 inch or so. And then I'm going to just take a sponge with a little bit of water on it and just go inside and clean everything up. You want to make your walls as clean as you can on the inside. The outside can have that really nice texture to it that you've come up with, but I want the inside to look like it's just nice and clean and smooth, almost in stark contrast to the outside of the pot. Okay. So I'll still have some smoothing and cleaning to do in there. Now what I'm going to have you do is, again, I'm going to have you save all of your trimmings because you're going to have the challenge now to wedge up all this clay and to make a second piece of Kurinuki. These are only going to take 2 or 3 days to produce, and we're going to spend at least a week on it. So I want you to have an experience making at least a couple of them. So put your shavings into a bag, spray that bag down, make sure they stay nice and moist. Okay, now I have carved a lid into this. I gotta remember how the lid fits now. Like that? Nope. Like that? Nope. There we go. Like that. Okay. And you can see that the lid has been carved out also. But there's no way for that lid to kind of stay in place. When it fires, it's just going to slide around. So what I'm going to do is take a little piece of clay and just make myself a little coil. Roll this out a little. And I'm going to make a little lip for that lid to sit on top of. And that'll help hold it in place. So this is the only thing that you're going to have to score and slip onto this piece of pottery. So I'm going to score all the way around. I'm going to score up my little coil. Get a little bit of slip on there. Just kind of squish that into place. You see I've kind of scored and slipped that on there. Now I'm going to use my wood knife to start blending that coil down into my pot. I need to hold that in place there. Oops. Pinch that back up, kind of clean it up a little bit. What I really want to do now is kind of define this little edge where the lid's going to sit down inside of. And clean that up a little. Got to blend the inside a little more, clean it up as well. You know, early in the trimester we talked about good craftsmanship, and the key to good craftsmanship is time. You really got to put time into it. It's hard to create a piece of pottery with good craftsmanship if you just throw it together really fast. Okay, so I've got that little flange there. You see how it kind of comes up a little? And that is what's going to hold, again, if I can find which way this goes. Yeah, there we go. That's what's going to hold that in place. Now you can see it's still raised up a little bit, so my coil is a little bit too far inside. or outside. What I'm going to do though is I'm just going to carve away some more of my lid so that it fits over that little flange right there. There we go. Okay, fits a little tighter now. Now I need to continue that all the way around, and I need to make sure it fits all the way around. You can see this is still a little bit rough inside, so now I need to take a sponge and clean it up as well. And then I'll stick that on there. And whenever I make a lidded jar, I always let the lid dry with the jar. That's an important part of it, I think. Okay, well, now that this is almost finished, I think what I'd like to do is actually cut it in half. And let's see what this looks like from the inside. So I'll just put my wire tool underneath there. Give this a little pull. Hopefully this will happen. There we go. Whoop. Okay. So looking at the thickness of the wall, that's really quite nice. About 1/4 inch thick. That's a lot of carving. As you're carving, or as I'm carving, I like to put my hand on the outside of the pot so that I can feel how thin the clay is getting. If I can feel the tool going across the clay, then I know I've got some good thinness to the clay. Obviously it's easy to cut all the way through, and if that's the case, just take, if you have a hole there, just take some slip and patch it up again. Okay. Now the bottom is actually a little thick, so that's something I probably should have been carving a little bit more. One thing we can do is actually test the thickness of the clay by using a pin and sticking it through the clay until it comes through the inside, and then measuring, and you can see that's really quite thick still. I probably should have been carving about half that much more away from the bottom of that pot. Okay, so that is the process, the Kurinuki process. Starting with a solid block of clay, giving it the texture you desire, letting it get firmed up on the outside, and then using these carving tools, carve away the inside. And if you happen to have a lid, then you'll have to create a little flange for the lid to sit on. Not only will we make this one, but from everything that you hollow out, you're going to wedge that together and make a second one as well. Okay, thank you very much.